Greetings, weary travelers. I am your host, Randall-Tand McWinterview. I know. Thank you, sir. Alright. Tonight on Hallmark Events from a Parallel Universe and/or Dimension. A Hallmark event captured by enigmatic extranet reporter Simone Caporalini. Am I saying that right? I have no idea. Did anybody check this? No? Anyway. This fellow captured these haunting images. A cantankerous event known as the Holy Gun Miracle took place in the rustic town of Permimhaption, USA. Interdimensional designation ADDT-TDDD-1DBDC-T3D-NDR-NDT-WH-ADC-3DDD-BDT-C-D-3D-765-11518. Population, a fair amount. The day began as any other. In a sleepy town, in an unusually elongated extra-dimensional designation, when all of a sudden, a hail of guns fell from the sky over a small church. The sisters of this congregation celebrated. Moments later, the weapons and munitions began raining from the very ceiling of the church itself. The sisters of the establishment were ecstatic, as their apparent prayers had finally been answered. The sisters gathered around to take a number of photographs of themselves holding their newly found munitions, posing in a great deal of excitement and pointing their newly found weapons at one another. And this continued on for some time. They took a number of photos here, it seems, and Sister Gladys found herself a modified Glock of some kind, and she was very pleased. She was very pleased with this. And Sister Canstampelus, Sister Venusia, Sister Tenencia, and the rest of them posed later for another photograph of their newly found musicians, praising the Lord and passing the ammunition, if you will. And shortly thereafter, the sisters were simply ecstatic and burst out into very, very gregarious expressions of song and dance to express their enthusiasm and great thanks to the Lord their God for blessing them with this gift from the divine, and they continued dancing well into the night, or the afternoon, frankly. We're not sure. They might have just turned the lights off in the building and began a little bit of disco dancing. Shortly thereafter, as things tend to happen once you drop the disco ball, well, as mentioned, members of the clergy. And Sister Gladys began cutting some rugs. She was known to do this from time to time, especially, just simply, enthralled in ecstasy from the deliverance of the gifts from the Lord their God, and so forth. Sister Gladys, went ahead and moved in for a little bit of a little kiss on the chick. Well, it's a little bit more kiss on the chick, but these things tend to happen. In this state of rapture, a couple of the sisters behind them began activating the Kundalini, if you will, and their third eyes became turned on. And again, this is to be expected from an event such as like this. As can be seen here, Sister Venusia just inspired by Sister Gladys, she began cutting some rug fiendishly, and people began pouring in from all parts of the town, for seeing the absolute, maelstrom of weaponry just falling from the sky. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. And, it was difficult to contain their excitement, you see, so the sisters decided to exit the church and begin heading towards the local town. The local town of Reformost. Just shy of Sherman. Yeah. And the rapture had really begun to take over at this point, as we can see. And the photos provided. Sister Venusia and Sister Gladys armed themselves with some modified assault rifles. Began their march in the town. Sister Canstampelus pulled out her unconventionally inaccurate Glock or whatever this is happening here, and she was very hell-bent on this, and Sister Walpurgis not attempted to explain themselves to the officers, and just saying, look here, fellas, we had it's been a miracle. It's the holy gun miracle. You understand what I'm saying to you, but the officers just weren't having it, and Sister Canstampelus just gave what did she do? She said, lock the dogs, screaming, it's time. Let's go get them, girls. Let's start marauding. Let's start marauding. Well, as you can imagine, the local municipalities had an issue with this, and began taking their frustrations out upon the sisterhood of the traveling munitions. Continued to do so, and the sisterhood of the traveling munitions didn't take too kindly to this. Obviously, probably not the best idea, kicking the shit out of nuns when they're armed to the teeth. And there's hundreds, possibly even thousands. It's very difficult to tell from the reports and the photographs. It's all very disorienting. Sister Canstampelus pulled out a very advanced howitzer grenader, I believe, is what we're looking at here. The howitzer grenader, it is a grenade-launching howitzer. Rotating, very fast rate of fire, is very explosive, and tensions began to escalate, I suppose you could say. This is indicative of what's happening here. Sister Canstampelus then pulled out what appears to be I don't know, some caliber grenade, very small grenade launcher, but nevertheless, it's a gun and it's a grenade launcher at the same time. It's shooting grenade bullets. Jesus Christ, what are you gonna do? Apparently, just torch the streets with this kind of weaponry. And it's a miracle after all. It was a miracle, and it was a miraculous explosions, and the officers began to realize that perhaps they shouldn't have gone kicking the shit out of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Munitions by this point, and the Sisterhood of the Traveling Munitions began running around gleefully, but also in a frenzied state of paranoia and concern. The behavior was of some state of rapture had taken over them. They weren't quite sure what was happening, but nevertheless, slowed their roll and took pleasure in the many carnalities that they had taken part in the small rustic towns. And as we can see here, let's see, I believe this is Sister Venstrentelfist. Sister Venstrentelfist launching a projectile from the right cheek of her anus at the local municipality's building there to show her displeasure with kicking the shit out of the Sisterhood of the Traveling
Nuns
Musicians.
causing mayhem on the streets. You fucking nuns.
The Sisterhood was very pleased with this, and the officers had fled the scene by this point. Apparently some laser beams were shot out of the side of a Volvo, and this didn't seem to bother one of the passersby. You know, he's just sitting in the car, taking it back, just taking it all in, taking it all in. And, Sister Canstampelus stepped up her game with a modified 10DR Act 9 407080 10 Tickety 3 Dindy 80 BDC. And this is a weapon of mass destruction that shoots arcing flame balls and whatever else you can come up with at any given time, because it was a miracle, folks. It was a miracle. What are you going to do? The sisters are very pleased with their work, gathered around to take pictures of themselves in front of the devastation of the small town, and this is quite the thing to see. It's quite the thing to see. They pulled up a few chairs and gathered round, began singing songs and of celebratory incantations, and what do you know, they might have knocked over a couple liquor stores. But here's Sister Canstampelus, just rolling in it. She's rolling in the dough, folks. She's rolling in the dough. So there we have it. These were rare images of the Holy God miracle, the 22nd of September, 1987. Godspeed, Sister Canstampelus, and thank you all for watching. Once again, I am your host, Randall-Tand, McWinterview. Stay spectastacle, you snazzy sons of bitches. Alright.